Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all, and what is going on once again? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and for those of you who did watch my Dynamite review, I apologize. I completely forgot about wearing my scarf, but I did just lay down for meant to be about half hour, 20 minutes, ended up being an hour. I'm sorry, you noticed I'll be uploading these later on tonight probably, but I'm here, first off, for I am the man himself. Because in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. We're here for a quick review of SmackDown. Because SmackDown this week was... Roman's went her, what are we going to call it, 1,000th day celebration. 1,000th day celebration. Hold on here. 1,000 day celebration. Without, well, of course, you didn't have them all 1,000 days. Can't grip them right. Champion. That's right. Those of you who do not know the secret, well, not really a secret, it's not really a big secret, but those who do not know, when I purchased my first wrestling shirt, I did buy with it like a small version of the 2014 edition WWE Championship. So, of course, I've always had this. But I finally made another purchase over the weekend. Hold on, I can't get this back on there. There we go, got it. I finally made another belt over the weekend. I mean, I know they're not really too special. Again, I just can't afford a $500 replica belt, even though won't deny it would be cool to have one I can actually wear. But yesterday, I did buy the old blue Universal Championship. Of course, you could never get me to buy the old ugly red belt version of the Universal Championship because that was ugly. The blue at least was decent, and blue is my favorite color. And then also, I want to get one for the Intercontinental Championship. But then, when I saw they had the Universal one there, it's still there, I thought, you know what? Maybe I should grab that one first. Because they'll probably discontinue that one. Because let me tell you, like, the black belt with the WWE title, you know, it's fine, but again, it's not really that much different from the design I have now from the 2014 design, except there's no red stripe on it. And then we have the new design. I'm like, no. We'll talk about that when we get to that closing segment. The only bad thing about that closing segment, again, was the revealing of that new championship belt. Other than that, okay, and maybe the Money in the Bank qualifying match with LA Knight and Montez Ford, because the reactions were interesting. They did try to drown out the actual crowd sound. Although, again, I'm still worried, because they're still seemingly slowly trying to fade the "yeah" chant away from LA Knight. Because I'm pretty sure that's Vince saying that, no, he has to be a heel. He has to be a heel. They can't be getting a positive response. Take that chant away. Don't have him be saying, yeah, a lot. Because, yeah, that's not what I like. screw you, Vince. But other than that, yeah. Not a pretty boring, pretty bland, pretty not much happening, like whatever episode of SmackDown. Nothing really exciting. I mean, the whole show was hyped up to celebrate Roman Reigns' 1,000 day celebration. It is the fallout show of SmackDown from Night of Champions. So, again, there's some things that could have been better than they were, but it just did not do that. It didn't do that. Of course, they had a tease also for a really good match against the Raw Women's Champion that is on SmackDown. Yes, I know she should be on the Raw background, but because she's a SmackDown superstar, and apparently the Raw Women's title is exclusive to SmackDown, we're doing it that way on these graphics overs. So, yeah. Let's roll in though. Let's talk about this show, because I do have other things to do tonight. But hopefully, but this one and my AEW Dynamite review should be uploaded tonight sometime. Let's talk about SmackDown. So SmackDown took place in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. It's probably about 7 hours, I'd say, northeast of me. The show opened up, Austin Theory talking some scripted promo how Roman Reigns may be celebrating 1,000 days as champion, but if you added how many days he's been United States champion, it'd be like 1,200 some days. And he hopes to someday be champion for 4,000 days to eclipse Roman Reigns. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, is it just me? Or has Austin Theory just gone backwards again? Probably again, not his fault, but Vince McMahon getting his hands on his chosen one, the man that probably would have become undisputed champion at SummerSlam last year had Vince not retired. Because I still hear the rumored finish of that main event match with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam last year. The rumored finish I heard originally was supposed to be Austin Theory cashing in while both Brock and Roman were both down. And basically, Austin was going to cash in. It would be a 10 count. Basically, cash in, ring the bell. 10 seconds later, Austin Theory would have been your new world champion. That would have been, again, one of the dumbest things I have ever seen. And probably, I would have considered putting that on my upcoming worst matches of all time, had they would have done that. That also probably would have been one of my worst cash-ins as well. Because that is so stupid. And again, Austin Theory was not ready to be world champion. And again, remember like back in like October or November, like right after Theory had failed his cash-in on the US champion. And he finally had that Raw where it's like he got my attention. And I was saying, hashtag Raw is Theory. I feel, to me, Austin Theory's gotten worse since he beat John Cena. Because, again, the only highlight of that feud was when John Cena was actually there and he ripped Austin Theory to shreds. He basically shrunk Austin Theory way down to size. Worse than he did to Roman Reigns back in 2017. He went as far as telling Austin Theory that they need to pipe in noises to react to him. And again, like the way the match went down at WrestleMania, and then the Austin Theory having to cheat to win, basically doing the same old shit, he has not been the same since that promo. He really hasn't. Like, to me, that I like how that was set up to have Austin Theory like prove himself at WrestleMania. And yes, I get he's a heel, but to me, I feel like he got nothing from that match. To me, it felt no different. Like, that match felt no different to me than when Alberto Del Rio dethroned John Cena for the U.S. title when he came back in 2015. Yes, I hate saying the name, but that's how it felt like. And again, Austin Theory just hasn't been the same since. But he all of a sudden now is having pretty deadly in his corner. And then they had a match against the Brawling Brutes, because I guess Theory's feud with Sheamus for the U.S. title is continuing, and it's just boring as hell, in my opinion. I'm sorry. There's no story. Like, again, if you have a match that may, not be the most exciting, if you can at least have a story, it makes it at least a little bit more interesting. Again, nothing has a story because Vince McMahon is basically ripping up all Triple H's material. And once again, Endeavor is going to do nothing about it. Vince McMahon won. I'm sorry. Vince McMahon won, and there's nothing we can do about it. I give up. We had a segment where Paul Heyman was talking with Solo Sikoa, saying that the Usos will not be here tonight for Roman Reigns' 1,000-day championship celebration. Of course, that is because Jimmy turned on Roman at Night of Champions and costed them the tag titles. The OC had a match against Hit Row. OC won. AJ Styles took out Top Dollar afterwards with a phenomenal forearm. I think B-Fab tried to help during the match, but Mia Yim took her out. Could have been something if Hit Row actually was clicking right now, but they aren't. My fiance constantly calls them Shit Row ever since they came back and had to wrestle jobbers. And I agree with her again. Hit Row is doing nothing. I'm sorry, with these rumored releases come up, again, I'm not going to be surprised if Hit Row is one of them. Because, again, they're not the same without Swerve. They need Swerve, but Swerve can't come back anytime soon. And I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon would not bring back Swerve. So he's around, so Swerve ain't coming back. Sorry, guys. We had another segment with the Grayson Waller effect that originally was an interview with Asuka. But then Io Sky interrupted. Now, when Io came out, well, first off, Grayson Waller. Again, I've always seen a handful of his matches. He's a good in-ring performer. As a character, though, it's not appealing to me. The whole Grayson Waller effect show, I'm just like, why? Like, what makes this, like, who is this guy, and why do you believe he's qualified to have a talk show? Like, it's, the character I don't get. The in-ring performer, again, he can wrestle. He can put on a good match. I'll give him that. But, other than that, I'm just like, who is this guy? But it was originally an interview with the new Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. And of course, she's misting from her face, from her teeth as she's talking. Then Io Sky came out, and her and Asuka kind of got into a war. And I thought at first they were going to set up a match at Money in the Bank with Asuka and Io Sky. And I'm like, okay. And then that wasn't the case. Because after Asuka came out Bayley to state her case as to why she will win Money in the Bank for the second time, we had Zelina Vega come out and explain why she would win Money in the Bank at the same time. We had Lacey Evans come out and say why she would win Money in the Bank. Shotzi Blackheart, just everyone else coming out saying, we're going to win Money in the Bank, we're going to win Money in the Bank, blah, blah, blah. And then it led to the qualifying match with Zelina Vega and Lacey Evans, who has absolutely zero momentum right now. And Zelina beats her. At least Zelina has a little bit of momentum as a babyface. So Zelina is the first woman to qualify for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And I'm a little confused. Based off the graphics, are they only doing 6 women? Or are we still doing 8? Well, for either one of them. For the men and women. How many of each are we doing? I mean, I understand 6. If you wanted to keep it smaller, that's fine. But I'm confused. Because I'm hearing rumblings back and forth. I need to be clarified. Because I'm trying to work on my Money in the Bank card also. I wanted to get it done by the end of the last week. But I didn't have the time. But, you know, that's that. Because that's the life of the man, basically, right now. Like I keep saying, guys, hopefully July, things will get easier. Hopefully. So yeah, we got that. Then we have we had that match. Then we had the qualifying match for the men. And it's LA Knight versus Montez Ford. Either one of those guys I would have loved to have had in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but I was kind of hoping for LA Knight because I'm really, really worried that Vince McMahon is going to just is trying to slowly cut off all of LA Knight's momentum. Well, I'm sorry, I think he wants to still push LA Knight, but push him the way he feels he should be pushed. Because again, I'm still getting worried because the past couple weeks when LA Knight's come out, he's not saying the yeah chant a lot. I don't think he even said, let me talk to you this week. But a few times he said, yeah, is off the microphone. And the one time he tried saying it, he just goes, yeah. It sounded like he was like trying to get it out, but he was like holding back about it at the same time. And again, my fear is that Vince McMahon is taking those chants away because either one, he didn't create them, or two, because they're getting a positive response and he wants LA Knight to be a heel. Even though, keep this in mind, even though, didn't he book LA Knight as a heel in NXT 2.0? I'm sorry, as a face in 2.0? So if he's getting organically over, why not make him like a badass babyface or something? You know? He won the match. People were chanting for him and booing Montez Ford. You can tell they weren't trying to pipe in the noises there. But LA Knight is in the match. Again, if Cody Rhodes is not in in the Money in the Bank ladder match, give LA Knight the victory. Give LA Knight the victory. Okay? I can't remember if they had an advertisement for the men's for Raw, but I know on Raw they're having Becky Lynch and Sonya Deville and Natalya versus Zoe Stark for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And then for the men, I can't remember if they advertised anybody for the men on Raw. I've heard rumors of Damian Priest being in the men's ladder match. He hasn't qualified for it yet. But I don't remember if they actually advertised for a qualifying match on Raw. And then, of course, for next Friday on SmackDown, they've advertised the following matches for qualifying matches. Butch versus Baron Corbin. Mustafa Ali versus Santos Escobar. What's the problem with both those matches? There's 2 free agents! Why are free agents getting opportunities? Again, just put them on a brand. Also, isn't Baron Corbin appearing on NXT going after the NXT Championship? And Mustafa Ali is also appearing on NXT, seeming to get involved in something for the North American title, from what I've read. Again, I'm not watching NXT, but I'm reading, the rumors and, stuff. Because, again, I've been, just taking peeks, seeing how it's going. Still not watching NXT, but, I'm just taking peeks. So, again, they're free agents. Why the heck are they being in qualifying matches for the Money in the Bank contract? Screw this damn brand split. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. The women, I think it's going to be Bayley and Mia Yim. and Io Sky versus Shotzi for the other qualifying matches for the women. But again, I still don't know if it's going to be 6 or 8 people. I thought they advertised a match for the men's match on Raw. But I can't remember if they did or not. They may not have. But honestly, again, if Cody Rhodes is not in for the men, I want LA Knight to win the briefcase. For the women, right now, if I'm being honest, I kind of want Zoe Stark to win it. I mean, yes, I've heard Io Sky is a candidate to win it. Okay. But I feel like Io Sky is someone that I don't think needs the briefcase to get a title match. Especially against Asuka. If it's against Asuka, I want a feud. I want a hyped up feud. I don't want a cash-in on Asuka. I want a feud. But I think out of the women so far, I'm hoping, which first off, if Natalya can get squashed by Rhea Ripley in 69 seconds, they better let Zoe Stark, who they booked well so far, get a victory over Natalya. I'm sorry. I love Natty, but they better let Zoe get the victory to get into that qualifying match. Because if you want to keep building Zoe up, her as Miss Money in the Bank would not be a bad idea. I kind of want to see it. So, I'm hoping for that. And then in the main event. So, first, the show is going to end with the celebration of Roman's 1,000-day title reign. And we all were, of course, wondering, what's going to happen with the Usos. Well, like I said at the beginning of this review, of course, there was rumored that there was going to be a new title to be revealed. And of course, thanks for the memories, Blue Universal Title Belt. Of course, the 2014 edition's been gone for a while now. But I think it was they got rid of it after Brock beat John Cena at SummerSlam in 2014, actually. But so before that happened, Triple H came out and he revealed a new title belt for Roman Reigns. Now, I gave this reveal a chance because the unique design they put into for the World Heavyweight Championship. Well, I got my hopes up a little too much because they revealed the title belt. And at first, I'm like, oh. That was my reaction when I first saw it. Oh. Was there a deal there where Triple H is like, here, I get to make one design for one of the world titles, you get to make the design for the other title belt? Now, let's put this in perspective also. The whole point of having a man celebrating 1,000 days as champion, getting a brand new belt, of course, when they, merged the two titles together, well, he's been like a double champion for over a year now. But when they're basically, giving SmackDown an exclusive championship, you expect a unique design. Something that feels superior, improved to what he has now. And all they did was change the strap from blue or black to gold. Yep, Roman Reigns has a gold belt now. A yellow belt, whichever color you want to say. Golder than this, who knows? But yes, when I saw that, I'm just like, he basically just got a third belt of what he already has, but he's just using one. That felt like a demotion. It didn't feel more bigger, like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. That's even better than the belts you got. But no, that's all it is. And then the Usos came out, and then, of course, they were basically just arguing with each other. Roman kept telling Jay to kick his brother. Jay wouldn't budge, but he also didn't want to completely turn against Roman Reigns. And then Jimmy cut this promo saying again how, he's like, how Roman's so full of it, but at the end of the day, they're all brothers. He points to Jay and goes, he's my brother. Points at Solo and goes, that's my brother. And of course, you're my brother, Us. And we can still run this together. But we gotta, treat each other here with a little more respect. And then Roman, of course, was like, he basically put Solo on the spot here. And then Solo, of course, who barely talks, says, I acknowledge you, my tribal chief, but they are my brothers. And then he walks over there and stands with the Usos. Then Roman gets emotional, and Jimmy's like, come on, can't we just cool off here and, move forward? And then, of course, first Roman's all emotional. Like, it was reminding me of back in the Hell in a Cell I Quit match with him and Jey Uso. And he's all emotional. They hug it out. But, of course, just like similar to, what happened whenever Finn Balor and AJ Styles hugged it out whenever Finn thought that AJ joined the Judgment Day, and he goes, I wasn't talking about you, and that's when the OC came back. Instead, though, Roman pulls up the microphone with still a bunch of emotion in his face, goes, no. And then we're like, what? And then Solo, who's just standing like a badass, goes, ah! And then hits Jimmy with a Samoan spike. And as they're walking out, Jay still stays there with his own brother. Basically, you hear Roman saying that Jimmy's no longer part of the bloodline. Jimmy's out. And then Paul Heyman, though, says, my tribal chief, what about Jay? And basically, Roman says that Jay has a choice to make. Like, basically, Jay, will follow through. He has the faith that Jay will eventually come back around. Jimmy always acts on a natural instinct. Jay, though, he's always in between. But he's always followed through. But will he stick with Roman this time? Or will he stick with his brother? And of course, they teased the crap like a couple weeks ago on SmackDown. How much longer until Solo sticks around? And here's the other thing I keep saying. I keep saying this. The other person they have to address. They have to, we have to realize is somebody else that needs to be taken out of the equation. Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, again, is the reason, to me, even though Solo hit with a Samoan spike, Solo was already taken care of before the match at WrestleMania. Because Cody beat Solo. But Solo got himself ejected. He got back in there again because Paul Heyman distracted the referee. I think the final piece that people keep overlooking, as I'm saying, to demolishing the bloodline is Paul Heyman. Again, it's like Horcruxes. They've, Sammy, has, Sammy finally turned on Roman. Now Jimmy's turned. Yes, of course, there's Jay, who people say is like the last piece. But again, Jay may be the last piece. But again, there is another one that I think people keep overlooking. Again, it's like Roman Reigns is Voldemort. If we take out Jay, of course, and Solo, Solo too. If Solo splits the bloodline too, there's still Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is Roman Reigns' true Nagini. Yes, Paul Heyman's a snake. Paul Heyman is Nagini. You got to take care of Paul Heyman. Until then, Roman will be champion. As long as Vince McMahon wants him to be. I still think he shouldn't be champion after SummerSlam. If it was up to me, SummerSlam is the time for Roman to drop the belt. The gold belt. Which is why I still say if you're going to have Cody be the one to do it, he's got to be the one to dethrone. He's got to win Money in the Bank to dethrone Roman. Otherwise, then I guess we won't be doing it till WrestleMania. If Roman Reigns is not dethroned by SummerSlam, then probably WrestleMania. But who knows? Maybe he'll have to be champion forever. I don't know. But I'm ready to see this story that's been awesome get completed. And of course, test the waters of WWE. See what they can do when their tribal chief is not champion more. You know? But yeah. That's how the show ended. The only good thing about the show, that and maybe the match with LA Knight and Montez Ford. But yeah, even that, and again, the revealing of the Universal title. Like, and that's the thing too. Are they calling it the Universal title now? Have they ended the WWE Championship? Like, what is the actual name for this title? For the gold belt? What is it? Because, quite frankly, I don't even know myself. I don't know the same thing you don't know. So, that's my review of SmackDown. I gave it a C. It was boring. I mean, even the celebrations didn't quite, get it for me again because of that title belt and whatnot. I gave this show a C. It was bland. It was boring. I didn't give a single shit much about it. So what are your guys' thoughts on this week's episode of SmackDown? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93 and follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And as always, guys, be sure to stay tuned for more content on my channel. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. Do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself.